the next meeting.
next council meeting.
Good.
As we get the information back, what I can do is I can bring it to each one of you guys. You can look at it individually and.
We should probably make a special meeting to go over the results.
We can do that too.
After the first meeting, or the.
After the survey comes back, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, that allows you to, you can do some regulation things, but you can't ban the sale of it. That requires a general election, you have to call and do through the county or whatever your normal general election process is. Or special, you can call it general or special election on that.
Yeah. Right. So plans in place. Good. Thank you, Kyle. Yep, is there anything else
For the attorney?
for the attorney? Comments? Okay. If you wanna stay, Kyle, that's fine. We only got a couple, three more things to go
Yeah,
through.
go ahead.
Okay.
Do we have any ongoing litigation?
I
Not that I'm aware of.
believe so.
The only one that I am aware of is still that sewer, and I
sewer
have some information for when it's done. Turn
When
to the
is
top.
she? Okay. Public Works, Jay?
Well, the water leak under the tracks wasn't as bad.
You what?
The water leak under the tracks
Okay.
Not
was,
for you.
I'm gonna guess the cork stopped to where the museum building used to be. Just pushed out of the main water line. And that water line is only, it's 5 feet to the top of that pipe.
I don't know how the keys were freezing.
So like
That's a
the
problem.
valve at the corner of the park is like at the end of the reach of the backhoe. So I figured, you know, under the tracks it would go down, we couldn't reach it. Well, it's only, 5 feet. So we clamped that and that's, should hold.
What the water specialist, he told me, is he asked, have we ever had water pressure issues? And over the years that I've been in, I can recall people complaining at times about water pressure. And he said, what happens when our water line's only 5 feet deep, he says that frost goes down, it goes around that pipe and freezes that pipe. He says, you may only have a 2 or 3 inch hole through that pipe, allowing that water to come and go.
Because it's moving and it doesn't freeze
It doesn't freeze
completely.
completely, but it's gone around that pipe. But if we ever have a really bad night and it freezes it, that stuff is extremely brittle.
Yeah,
And it would just shatter it and,
we've had times when it's been 10 to 20 below for 2 weeks and haven't shut it off.
we've been lucky.
Yeah, well,
I think that we as a town have been very fortunate that we haven't had an issue.
Yeah.
Frost is down pretty good right now, isn't it?
No.
No, it's not.
It's 12 inches or less.
Wasn't that about 5 years ago? We had it down to 20, but the wind chill was
We've had-
40.
But
over the
it's,
past 50 years down 2 or 3 week stretches, January, February. And we've never lost water.
one of the concerns that just scared the liver out of me is if that break had been closer to the railroad tracks, then they would have had to shut down the railroad. And then the town of Fromberg would have been liable
With the loss of revenue?
for the loss of revenue for the railroad. And it would have had, if they'd wrecked the train, would have been liable for all that. Because that, when you create a water, I mean, Jay saw the water squirt out of that, how high did it go? 40 feet?
80 feet or more. When they hit it.
Straight up in the air.
Oh,
when-
yeah.
Yeah. It's
There's
just-
hydrostatic on it too, though.
Yeah, so, can you imagine what I was afraid of is that somebody driving over that water and there was a hole underneath there,
Yeah.
eaten out by that
Right,
water.
sinkhole,
Yeah, and you drive in there and then you just drop your car in.
yeah.
Or what would happen if that
Trips
broke
the train.
in the middle of the highway? Then that highway would be shut down.
Well,
Granted, it's only 5 feet deep.
what do you wanna do, lose the highway or the railroad?
I wanna get a new water line underneath there.
Another one.
Right on that grant.
Another one, but we can't afford to put two of them on.
Well,
We're trying to get-
we're working on the grant to get this one over here, so in case that does happen, it gives us time.
Yeah,
Because if it blows right now, then we got what water's in the water tank,
that's
east
it.
side of town has none. We have no fire protection, we have no drinking water.
And I'm trying to talk to the state about getting another approach on A Street to the highway. Wouldn't
Yeah,
have to be a used one, but at least an emergency one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Good
so
idea.
people can still,
Yeah, because if we'd have had to block that road off,
go to Edgar.
yeah, go to Edgar or Joliet. Or even if we had an ambulance call on the other side of town, they'd have to go to
Very true.
Edgar,
You'd
Joliet.
have to go through the railroad for that, right?
We are.
Approach?
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to get.
because they have to put in another stoplight.
There is one down there.
There's not a stoplight.
No, but you could, if you just use
You'd
it
have
for
to put in all
emergencies,
that.
just use a stop sign or something there for now.
But it is, when you stop and think about it, we as a town, we're very fortunate that we noticed the leak and it gave us time to prepare. It's like she said, Jay called the railroad and he got with the right people. Normally, people just, the railroad just ignores you. But he got with the right people and they showed up the next day.
And I think we're gonna remove that secondary track too,
Okay?
so we only have one set of bumps.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to personally commend the way you handled that, Jay.
Thanks.
I really appreciate,
Well, if I would've dug it, it would've been 20 feet deep, but since I
Yeah.
didn't dig it, it was only 5.
well, I mean, all of what you did, I don't know how we could have done it any better than what you did. So I
Yeah,
commend
it
you.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a very good job. And, you know, gotta commend Lacey as well. And Nate,
and Nate.
they were out putting things on everybody's door to let them know.
Yep.
So it was a, you know, a community type effort that everybody got involved as much as we could. And I appreciate everything that went on. Cause I was,
That could have been so much worse.
it could have been it was terrible. And I was as bad as Jay. Jay'd step out of his door and step on the street with binoculars. Looks down there to see it, I'd be stepping out there and saying,
I didn't see that.
you know,
Hope she don't blow.
yeah, I don't wanna see water squirting.
2 hours and it was done. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's pretty easy.
Yeah,
But we had.
because that
I
side
had
of town
Bridger-
could have been down for a week.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. We could have had the highway shut down for,
Well, yeah, it could've went under the highway and there could've been a
it could have
sinkhole.
been a disaster.
Yeah.
And the only resolution that I can come up with is I just pray that we get this grant to put the second line in, and we try to continue to get another grant or whatever we can, to put a new line underneath
Yeah.
the highway and the railroad tracks and stuff there. Cause what's there is, what, 60, 70 years old?
Yeah, it's all AC pipe and it's only in a casing under the tracks itself.
Yeah.
The rest of it's just sitting there.
And you guys, that stuff is just like glass. You just take a little hammer and tap that and it just shatters.
What is it?
It's asbestos.
Concrete? Yeah.
It is, it's very hard, but it's
6 inch?
very brittle.
8. That one's 8.
It's 8-inch lines.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just out of, is it any way possible that the town could access some funds through a bank or whatever and take care of the redundant line ahead of the grants and then apply the grant money to it.
I doubt they would give us the grant money then. Cause then they would say that we have access to money to do that.
Plus, we're stretched pretty thin.
Well, yeah, the interest would probably be pretty bad.
Yeah, it would be. But. Anything else, Jay?
Yeah, we have our meeting, or our conference thing in March. The end of March up in Great Falls. So we'll go to that for a couple days. Then I gotta come back for fire training. And then the week after, the 25th, they have a whole nother week-long conference for like the county and towns for road building stuff up there. In different ways than whatever all the laws are. So maybe next year I could go to that too. See what
I personally would like to see that,
what it's about.
because if you learn how to repair the roads, we can do it right, so if they last a little longer,
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be beneficial too, especially with that stuff that we got going, like being able to use county equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And more knowledge on site's gonna be huge.
Yeah, 'cause everybody from around here goes up there.
Yeah, it could be a good thing.
And what else,
They
Jay?
don't drink beer, do they?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I don't anymore though, so you're safe. It won't be that expensive.
We don't have to put any money aside for bail.
Right.
The place that did the ductwork and stuff at the wastewater plant, I'm having them look into air filters for the fans for that building. Just 'cause you clean it and a week later, there's a foot of bugs in there again. To see if they can come up with,
Spiders are gonna be able to eat small children soon.
yeah, come up with a way to keep some of them out. So it's a little easier anyway.
Yeah, it gets pretty nasty down
What's all on here? And then the building.
there, in the building, okay. You want me to talk about that, or do you wanna?
I don't care. I would like another building, maybe at like the baseball fields, on that old cement pad behind the concession stands.
Right now, there's a 30 by 30 concrete slab down there. I think they probably put it in there for,
It used to be the basketball hoop a long time ago.
was that what it was?
The one
Okay.
that's on the other side
Good
of the
thick
fence.
pad though, you could set up fence.
Yeah, it's a good pad. We were looking at a building, actually, we were looking at these Pioneer sheds. And then we were looking at building our own, or getting a steel building. But we were thinking a 20 by 20 building down there. And I don't know if you guys have been in the shop over here in the last 7 or 8 years.
I have.
You remember that fire hydrant it's laying there on the floor
No.
by the boat bend? Well, it's been there for about 7 years. And we need a place, you know, like Jay and I've talked, a place where we can we have all kinds of pipe fittings, all that kind of stuff
Meter pits.
that's in there. And if we could put it in a building down there where you don't have to worry about that stuff freezing. And it can be out of the way, and you can have room to organize a shop, clean it up and make it look better.
Let me ask you this, are we utilizing the shop we have to the fullest extent?
Actually, we have all kinds of decorations in there. You gotta step over a fire hydrant to get to the bolt ends. We have 2 lawnmowers,
3.
3 lawnmowers. Yeah, it's
Full.
pretty well packed up, yes.
The skid steer. The truck.
It's hard, yeah, it's hard to get, it's hard to use, from my perspective. I've
Isn't
worked-
there a mezzanine? in there?
It's completely jammed.
Is it jam full of shit or stuff that we use?
Well, there's a lot of material signs and stuff in there. There's a lot of pipe that's stuck in there,
Is there stuff that should be thrown away?
some of it, and we're going through it.
I've thrown a lot away,
Yeah.
actually.
So,
Well, you mentioned you had a 30 by 30 slab down there, what's wrong with putting about a 28 by 28 foot building on it?
It's kind
well, nothing, That's-
of, other than the cost.
other than the cost.
Yeah,
Well, then we can get the stuff out of the baseball and softball people's way, out of that building. All the posts and everything that are in there and the fence, that could all go in there, out of the way.
Yeah, cause if they're gonna do concessions and stuff,
I forgot about
we need
all
to get
that
that
stuff.
building cleared out.
What's the cost of something like that?
Stuff in that
Tim?
building,
Oh,
in
yeah.
the concessions.
Well, we were looking at,
The snow fence type.
I think all your
You know, like the
snow
orange
fences
snow fence that
Yeah,
we have to put up so
For the
the ball
baseball
doesn't
field.
are-
go.
Yeah, I think all
well, a
that.
28 by
There's
28
like a whole
building.
bunch of
And
rules
there's a
of that
bunch
in
of
there. Like that
posts
other
and stuff
side,
in there.
opposite of where you do the
28,440.
concessions, that's packed with all kinds of stuff that doesn't
Everything.
really need to be in
And
there.
there's water
I thought we
down
could
there
get a
now,
metal
too.
Fencing
building.
stuff and,
So-
Jay was gonna,
At the baseball field?
yeah,
Jay, did you check on
you'll
the,
have, yeah,
on
you'll
the
have
price
to
on the
look.
metal building?
Nobody ever got back to me.
They didn't get back to you? I thought we could get us a metal building cheaper than $21,000.
I don't know.
But
Because it doesn't have to be
there's water
heated,
down there.
we just need a roll-up door,
Cool, yeah,
Dry.
because we're planning
yeah,
on
just dry. Someplace you can go in there and get
painting
the
and
parts
cleaning
needs,
that up and
go
having it
go
open.
back out.
And I never went
Place where we
in
park
there.
the lawnmowers.
Metal
bathroom,
from our
in there
roof,
for
can
a
we
couple
do
years,
it?
but
It's twice
So
what
I
our
don't know.
architectural
I know
shingles
a couple
cost.
years ago we put RV antifreeze and
It's
everything.
spendy.
Oh, well, me and Tammy are.
Well, I
working
priced
on
the
this
lumber,
out here.
But
to do it,
there
and it was
is water.
about
What's in
Cool.
that
$7,000 or
building
$8,000.
We'll have
beside
to,
the shop? The
Yeah.
old tin
Around here,
room.
local.
Oh, the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that's connected?
Mhm.
Out of
There's
refrigerator.
signs and,
Paper.
Paper,
barriers,
pipe.
pipe, that's where.
I know the last I bought
That's
it,
where
that
all
was
the
pretty
pipe
spendy, but
is at.
that was when there was a shortage.
But it,
Yeah.
It's getting
we
bad
can't
again.
fit, like we can fit the skid steer in
Yes.
there.
You gotta-
We can't fit the
just an
back in
idea.
there.
Oh,
Gonna go
But
back and clean
if
out
that was
the
all
jobs.
cleaned out, then
It wouldn't
everything
be
in the winter could be
contractor
inside.
friendly, but it would
I would
work
think
well.
if
You
it was
just get
gonna
some
fix
rough cut,
stuff.
you'd have higher quality wood,
Yeah.
stronger
Yeah, I
wood.
wanna go
Do
through
what?
it and-
If you get some rough cut lumber, like from a sawmill, it's much stronger wood. And it's not dimensional, 100%, but I don't think you need anything super precise. You're not building for, somebody rich.
And
But
I
you
don't know,
could-
where would a guy go to get that?
Great point.
Oh yeah, it's a great deal. It's terrific wood. It's Doug fir, which is fantastic stuff. The problem is you can use a nail gun with long nails on it, but it's so thick that you might have to reinforce it with some short ring shanks or something. But I mean, it would save a bundle of money, and you'd really have a building. I mean, it'd be good.
Yeah, yeah, that would be an option too.
It wouldn't blow away.
Yeah, we need that. What do you guys think of that?
Well,
I know,
I like the idea of a structure.
right now, we may not, I haven't really studied the budget to see if we have money in there now.
There was never.
But July is
never
coming.
happened there.
And this stuff here will come out of the water sewer. Will not come out of the general fund because it's going to be putting the water sewer stuff in
So
here.
I was just wondering.
we got tons of money in water and
Still
sewer.
fencing.
We're gonna,
Yeah,
we got
Yeah.
plenty.
it's kind of a pain, but it's easier to move when you know.
Yeah, through.
It'd be beneficial to have something down there, I think. There's no sense of wasting that.
I don't have a
Just
problem
even
with it
having
if you can
concrete
afford it.
down. The concrete pad already down, and that's not a heavy structure, so it's not like we're parking big equipment. I mean, that's saving us a chunk right there.
Yeah.
How long's that slab been down there?
It's good mud down there. I bet it's been there, what,
30 years,
80s?
Yeah.
40 years.
It's been out in the open with the sun hitting it.
Yeah,
There's no cracks in it.
it's the best pad that's around. It's the only thing that ain't cracked in this town.
That's why I thought maybe they built it for a building or something.
No, that was where the original when the tennis courts were real tennis courts, that was the basketball court.
Huh.
They put the tennis courts up in the 70s, so the existing ones.
Yeah. Well, if it's all right with you guys, then we'll start working more towards this,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Cause I think it's a big good idea.
Just more like a pole barn if you used
Yeah.
rough cut.
And that would work.
Do we have somebody that can build that?
I see you hiding back there.
Well, that's the other thing, by the time
Because we
he
gotta
gets
hire
to
somebody
nickel and
to build
dime
it.
3 hours a day on it, still
Yeah.
run the town.
I don't want
Buying
Jay
a
to have to build
prefab
it.
might not be
No,
terrible.
it needs to be built.
Yeah,
Have a professional build it.
And they slap
so
up
we
a,
need to talk to
they
maybe
slap up
some
an uninsulated pole
contractors
barn
to
in
find
8
out
days.
what they charge to build it,
Yeah.
whether we use wood or metal.
Metal, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about
Let's put some numbers to
that
it.
company is that they do finance you. And if we can't afford to pay it all at once, then we could do a financing thing until we can pay big portions of it. Cause like I
I'd rather
have one
not
at my
finance
house.
anything
Well, yeah.
myself.
If we can get the money out of water and sewer, then we can custom
Well, right now,
shape the shed to use the entire slab.
Mhm.
And the company can put it up for you in 8 to 10 days.
Yeah,
They fly on those.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
it's a good idea.
And we'll look at the budget to see where we're at exactly now and what we've been using for water sewer, so that we know if we have those funds available to us.
What we recovered out of delinquent should help put a dent in it.
Yeah,
That could be our.
I hear you. That's the payoff.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Anything
there
else?
is a budget paper, I did put a budget paper in.
Yeah, I
there
saw it.
for the study.
Anything else for Jay?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that I see. Well, that I can
Lisa?
see.
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys are here, because I wanted to ask your opinions on how we can put this up. Do, like, laminate it and attach it to the post, or do we need to get like actual signs, but then where do we attach it, or what do we need to put post? What is gonna be the best way for me to get this done?
I would probably say start by laminating something, or laminating it.
Or even if like the enclosed little case thing or something like that, that we can just bolt to the side of it or somewhere
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
To where, cause I mean, even laminated, that wind kicks up the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And at least that way, if somebody, if it does deteriorate, starts to sun fade, cause if it's pointing this way, it's gonna sun fade by the end of the year, at least we can open it up and throw in a new one or something.
That sounds like a good idea, Nate.
Just
Yeah.
have something.
And then do we want to attach it to the actual poles, or do we,
What do you
I don't,
think, Jim?
yeah, I didn't,
I would have to go down there, cause you don't want somebody walking into it
Oh,
either,
no,
you
no.
know, I mean.
no, and I don't wanna, like, compromise the strength of it either, you know? I mean, you never know.
That's a good
But,
question.
So I guess we need to do a little more planning, but I was like.
Well, are there any plans or thoughts about putting another one down there?
Another gazebo
Another
pavilion kind of thing.
gazebo, maybe south of that one?
We've talked about, but we want to get it fixed up where the kids to play ball. We want more families.
Something.
It's
More
nice,
activity.
but
Instead of doing that lockbox, you could get a hold of a sign company and probably get it reflective on a metal sign.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking,
And that
So
would
like
something
with
like
the
that.
parking, or the
Yeah.
no semi-parking
yeah,
And stick it
that
in
would
the
be
ground.
perfect.
in the ground,
Then it wouldn't,
yeah.
nobody would walk into it. I don't know, I'd
Yeah,
have
you
to
can
go
just
down
be
there
on
and
a
look.
post right,
I know, that's what
bolt it
I
onto
was-
it right next to it. It's ready to go.
That would be a good idea.
Thank you, Lacey, for bringing that up.
And then, okay, so that sewer, situation that we dealt with, it ended up, it cost $28,707.50 the whole total. And the insurance paid $21,521 of it. So we just have $7,186 to pay from that. And so we're looking into grants for the water main break to try to get that, some of that paid off that way too, so that we don't have to figure that out. But, yeah, so we're in the middle of looking for, or trying to get approved for a grant, to cover some of that. And then, so our old balance last month was 55,204.25, and it's now 45,701. That's in water. Sewer is down. It was 40,322, and it's down to 29,545. And garbage was a little over 9,000, and it's now down to 6,117. So
We'll make it through.
we're making progress on the delinquents, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to keep track of it each month to make sure that it's still going down. But there's not that many left to deal with, really.
Any shut-offs last month?
I don't think last month, but there has been this month already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, and then other than that, I've had to deal with learning how to do taxes. That was fun. But yeah, it's just been dealing with both of those situations and how we're gonna pay for it. Other than that, I got nothing at the moment.
Anything you need from us?
I don't think yet. I don't know, we might have to make decisions when it comes to the grant. If, there's just a couple more documents I have to get, this guy from GNRC. And then hopefully, there's only 2 other applications right now for the funding. So hopefully we get chose out of, because they only choose a certain amount out of all the applications.
Right.
And it's early, so this happened at a good time for that.
Now, is that for the grant for the
Yeah, for that,
water?
paying for everything.
Okay.
Is it Carbon County or federal?
Bad.
That's it.
And we contacted our guy that's doing that grant for us and letting him know that we were having
Yes.
trouble with the,
Yeah, the grant that we were trying to
line.
get for it decided to go now.
yeah,
Yeah, no, he's the one who hooked me up with, this David Larson for the grants. But he said, what was it that he had said, that he thinks there's a way that we can use this to our benefit when it comes to the other grant we were
Yeah.
trying to get?
that's what I was wondering.
So, that it's kind of a good thing.
Like,
really.
see,
Yeah,
the place falling
we
apart.
really need it, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is an emergency funding grant is what it is.
Yeah.
so.
Does the state do anything for us? State of Montana?
Well, I called our state representative and talked to him and to our senator. And they're aware of the issues, but they're in no real position to help. I talked to Seth, and I said, are you familiar with Fromberg? And he said, oh, yes, I am very familiar with Fromberg. I said, okay.
His brother's my neighbor, so he should be.
No. And that's good, maybe, because I told him, talk to somebody, whatever they can do, phone calls or whatever. So
I heard the government had a lot of money. You didn't call the White House?
Yeah. I need to speak to Joe Biden.
I did. I'm sorry.
That's your assignment tomorrow, too.
Okay, was there anything else for?
No, he is.
I just have a question on that grant that you're applying for, the redundant water. Does that include the fire hydrants and a couple other water lines.
Yes,
Okay, so it's a pretty good package.
yes.
What's the total amount that you're asking for?
700,000-800,000.
That sounds pretty good. I mean,
And that was all part because of COVID, is how that whole
okay.
thing got started. It's called American Rescue Plan, action or something.
okay, yeah, that'd be very nice.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would work. And then we can start trying to see if we can get a replacement for this water line. And get it very deep enough and get it fixed right. I'm sorry. Anything else, Lacey? Okay. You guys have anything that you'd like to bring up?
A couple months or 3 months ago, I asked about finding out what collateral we had to get our loans.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've never got any response.
That,
Nobody seems to know who we borrowed from, evidently.
yeah, the auditors have needed that information too, and there is no record.
Because there was gonna be
I
a
don't know
football
how this
team.
is possible, but me and
We're all
Kirsten have
good.
gone
They didn't
through
wanna play.
everything.
So
And there is no record
they
in
went to,
paper
Joliet.
or digital
Because
of
dad's on the
anything to
school
do
board.
with the loans. How does that work?
Wow.
Yeah, but I do know
Yeah.
that,
'Cause Dawn to Betty
one of them is
donated,
USDA, and that is an electronic
how many
payment.
thousands to the football
I just don't,
field.
there's no record
Fixed
of
football
the,
field on- so it's
The
nice and
transaction?
smooth, there's no lumps in
well,
it
there's no
anymore.
record of the
Put
details.
the lights in.
Of it,
bring
of-
it to
What, we had
Joliet.
to guarantee to get it?
Yeah,
Then the bank that we
absolutely-
got the loan from doesn't have that information?
no,
Yeah.
nobody has this information,
I'd be
and
mad.
so,
kidding me?
yeah,
Dead.
and the
We've been-
auditor is so mad, but
6 beavers
we-
out of there, out of the
we
ditch
have
up
all,
there.
when we talked to,
Just between where the.
So let's stop paying them and I bet you get a call.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know the
We've
one
been
is
online.
USDA,
How long ago was the loan?
that I can't find, there's
No,
no
Probably
information.
6 or
In that
7
office,
years.
there is no information whatsoever.
6 years, maybe?
Anderson got it, so.
Yeah,
Oh.
Anderson got it,
Was it Anderson?
yeah.
Yeah, there's
When they
no-
started working on this
On the sewer.
sewer.
That's the,
Oh.
Our accountant is, when he has time, he's really behind on all the financial reviews of the world. But he is gonna try to dig up whatever he can from the past on that, but there is absolutely nothing in there, unless it's in here, which I do
Yep.
plan on moving everything in here and starting to sort
You should have
eventually here.
uncovered that out there.
Yeah, it should be out, I
Yeah.
mean, that is important.
Yeah,
I think that happened
There's
when
nothing
one
on
of
the
the,
sewer
when
loan or the water.
previous mayor was running the computers and stuff.
Yeah, there's,
Huh.
yeah, cause they wanted to know, they wanted all the information about our loans. And there's nothing. There's
That's when
nothing
that
in.
happened, I'll wager you.
we keep digging. We like to find.
Well, yeah, cause if we can lower, if we're